The front door clicked, a sound I'd heard 1,000 times. Yet tonight it felt like a gunshot in the quiet of our home. Sarah was home, a few minutes late, but not unusually so. She called out a cheerful, "Honey, I'm home," and I forced a smile, returning the greeting. I was sitting in the living room, nursing a glass of bourbon, the light from the television screen casting long shadows across the room. We had been married for 7 years. 7 years of laughter, shared dreams, and occasional argument, the sort every couple has. We had built a life, a comfortable life, but lately that life had felt brittle. She came into the living room, her eyes bright, a flush on her cheeks. She was smiling, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, and that's what made my stomach twist. That smile was wrong. Too cheerful, too forced. She'd been different the past few months. Distant, almost like she was a stranger living in my house. I had noticed the hushed phone calls, the sudden need to go to girls' night out, and a new perfume. I'm not stupid. I had just hoped I was wrong. "How was your dinner with Emily?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. My heart thumped a slow, heavy rhythm against my ribs. She shrugged, a practiced, nonchalant move. "Oh, it was fine. You know, the usual." She moved closer, and I could smell a faint, unfamiliar cologne mixed in with her perfume, a scent that wasn't mine. "I made some coffee. Want some?" I asked, trying to seem normal as I walked toward the kitchen. I wanted to just come out and ask her where she'd really been. But I needed to know more first. And more importantly, I needed to stay calm. "Sure," she said, following me into the kitchen. She moved with an energy I hadn't seen in her for months. She was practically glowing, a sickening vitality about her. I poured her a cup and handed it to her. As I watched her sip it, I decided to try a different angle. "You seem energized." She chuckled. "Just had a good night. It's always nice to be around the girls." She took another sip of coffee, her eyes scanning the room, but avoiding mine. I didn't say anything, just nodded, and started doing the dishes. I was waiting for her to say it, waiting for her to say she wasn't with Emily, waiting for her to come clean, to end this awful charade. But she didn't. Instead, she started talking about some new project at work, rambling about deadlines and meetings. It was almost comical the way she tried to fill the silence with mundane chatter. I finished up and walked back into the living room. I picked up the remote and switched the TV to the news. "Oh, can you put on something else?" she said, her voice sharper than before. I turned towards her and smiled. "Of course." I grabbed the laptop from the coffee table. I wasn't looking for entertainment. It was for the video I had planned for this moment. For 2 weeks, I had installed hidden cameras around our home. Weeks ago, when I knew something was up, the night prior, I had found my evidence. I had seen the video of her on the side of the bed with another man in some cheap motel. I had seen the way she looked at him, a look she hadn't given me in years. The video was clear, brutal in its honesty. The way she touched him, the way she moaned. Every detail seared into my memory. I hadn't been able to sleep. The only thing that had calmed me was the meticulous planning of what I would do next. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice filled with a strange mix of curiosity and something that edged on apprehension. "Just checking something," I said, my voice even, betraying none of the turmoil roiling inside me. I took a deep breath, trying to regulate the anger that threatened to explode. My fingers trembled slightly as I opened the folder with the video. I turned the screen towards her. Her eyes widened, her face going pale. Her hand flew up to her mouth. The coffee cup slipped from her fingers, crashing onto the carpet. The liquid spread like a stain, a dark blot on the beige rug. She stumbled backward, her eyes fixed on the screen, horror dawning on her face. "W, what is that?" she whispered, her voice shaking. I watched her, my heart a cold, hard lump in my chest. I had imagined this moment 1,000,000 times, but seeing her reaction was almost more satisfying than I'd imagined. "You know what it is, Sarah," I said, my voice low and steady. "It's you? Last night. With him." She took another step back, her breathing becoming ragged. No, this can't be." She looked around the room, her eyes darting to the corners as if searching for a way out. You thought you could lie to me. Act like nothing happened. I was amazed at how calm my voice was. I was seething inside. You thought I wouldn't find out? I don't know what to say, she stammered, her eyes welling up with tears. But they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of fear. How about I'm sorry? I offered, my voice laced with sarcasm. She didn't say anything, just stared at the screen, her face a mask of shame and disbelief. I watched her squirm, my stomach feeling like a nest of snakes, but I couldn't look away. This was my moment. After weeks of pretending everything was okay, she thought she could just erase the fact that she betrayed me. She had another thing coming. I closed the laptop. The image was burned into my mind. You have a choice to make, Sarah, I said softly. You can either pack your things, leave, and we never speak again, or we can spend the next few months or year in a long, drawn-out divorce where I will make sure everyone knows what you did. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, the whole world. I have enough evidence now to make sure you will never work again. She looked at me, her eyes filled with genuine panic. She had been so sure she had the upper hand. She had been so certain I was oblivious. Now, she realized she was wrong. Her face twisted in a grimace. This was when I knew I had broken her. She knew that I held all the cards. I don't want that, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Then pack your things, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. I'll call you when the lawyers have worked out the settlement. I want to be rid of you. This is a bad dream, she muttered. She nodded, tears streaming down her face, and turned to leave. She didn't fight. She didn't deny. She simply accepted it. And I knew that this was the end. I watched her go to our bedroom to pack the things she had collected over the 7 years we were together. 7 years, thrown away for a cheap thrill. I walked over the bar and poured another glass of bourbon. I watched her silently pack her bags and walk out the front door. I felt a sense of completion, the final act of this dreadful play. She was gone. I was free. The next morning, I got dressed and left the house. I had a plane ticket for a place I had always wanted to visit. Alone, it was time for me to heal. I had won this battle. I had destroyed her world. Now, I needed to rebuild mine. So guys, if you liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.